Please welcome the interim president of Stony Brook University, Richard L. McCormick.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the honor of standing before you today as Stony Brook University's interim president. I'm grateful to all of you here in the Stoller Center and to all of you joining us online for welcoming me with such warmth and generosity to Stony Brook. You've entrusted me to be part of an extraordinary chapter in the history of this university, and I will not let you down. While I am new to Stony Brook, I spent many of my early years and almost all of my adult life on public university campuses. I grew up just a couple of miles from Rutgers University, where my father was a history professor, where I returned after graduate school to serve on the history faculty for 16 years, and where my father and I team taught an undergraduate course on the history of American politics. That was among the most memorable experiences of my life. Later still, I returned again to Rutgers, this time as its president. The Rutgers Gymnasium was where I learned to swim as a child. One of its classrooms was where I fruitlessly attempted to learn German as a teenager. And it was at Rutgers that I first became inspired by a life of teaching and learning, and by the many glorious missions of an American public research university. I remember when I first became aware of Stony Brook's excellence. The year was 2001, and I was president of the University of Washington. Stony Brook had just been admitted to the prestigious Association of American Universities, the AAU. I was inspired by how quickly this university, founded only 40-some years earlier, had grown and come into its own as among America's best. I remember telling myself to keep an eye on Stony Brook. There was, I thought, something special going on there, and I was right. Now it is 2024, and here I am surrounded every day by faculty, staff, administrators, healthcare workers, students, alumni, and community members who are proving how right I was. And here you are sitting in front of me. Thank you for that. To truly appreciate the extraordinary rise of Stony Brook, you must understand the most important developments in the modern era of public higher education in America, especially the years after World War II. And so please allow me to indulge my passion for giving a history lesson. The era of World War II was the time when the federal government began to support tens of thousands of college students, starting with the GI Bill in 1944, and when the government began to make massive investments in university-based research, starting with the Manhattan Project that built the atomic bomb. That was the time when states expanded their traditional public universities and created new ones, like Stony Brook in 1957. And that was the time when a whole new class of higher education institutions called community colleges sprang up everywhere across the land. All these developments were based upon a well-articulated belief, shared by my parents' generation, that public higher education benefits the whole society. Their confidence was well-founded, and here is the proof. As the trends established in the era of World War II grew and continued across the decades, America came to lead the world by far in access to higher education, now including many more women, students of color, and far more students from economically disadvantaged backgrounds. College-educated students had far greater opportunities for significant achievement, for improving their socioeconomic status, and for becoming leaders of their communities and of America. Thanks to government investments in university research, America also came to lead the world in the creation of new knowledge in the health sciences, in mathematics and the hard sciences, and in humanities and the social sciences too. The United States became the global center of scientific research, the global center of advancing humankind's knowledge. Students educated in our colleges and universities and the research carried on in those same institutions had world historic impacts on economic growth and opportunity, vast improvements in human health, the construction of infrastructure improvements essential to modern life, and perhaps not least, the enhancement of our civic life and our democracy. Practically every nation in the world began to copy America's investments in higher education with similarly favorable outcomes. And here's the bottom line of my history lesson for Stony Brook. Stony Brook University today exemplifies dramatically all the most important developments in modern American higher education. First, we have a growing and highly diverse student body, half of whom are drawn from economically disadvantaged families. Our students graduate, and we are among the top universities in propelling their affluence and opportunity. Second, Stony Brook boasts a large and growing research enterprise fueled by more than $300 million annually in funding, mostly from the federal government. As a result, our university is a leader in prolonging healthy lives, addressing the global challenge of climate change, responsibly advancing artificial intelligence, and many more fields of knowledge upon which humankind depends. Third, Stony Brook's graduates and its research achievements are contributing mightily to the economy and society of Long Island, New York, the nation, and the world. I am confident that years from now, observers will be reciting this same history lesson, now with many more chapters about Stony Brook's leadership and its exemplification of all of the values of modern American higher education. Let me share a few stories that exhibit our university's excellence. Last week, together with an outstanding group of 12 of our faculty, students, and administrators, I had the opportunity to host SUNY Chancellor John King for a roundtable discussion on the value of public higher education in New York. Our emphasis, naturally, was upon Stony Brook. Fortunately, we were joined by 2 members of the state legislature, a body whose support for Stony Brook is absolutely essential. In just an hour that day, a powerful story unfolded that was not only steeped in facts and figures, but also told with passion, expertise, and pride. Our faculty described achievements in healthy aging, artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and interdisciplinary climate research. Our students told Chancellor King about the excellence of their education with an emphasis upon their love of experiential learning and the satisfaction they found in having such a diversity of fellow students. Together, we shared examples of how Stony Brook continues to define what is expected at the best research universities. Not surprisingly, the Middle State Commission on Higher Education recently confirmed Stony Brook's accreditation with 0 recommendations. That means that we met in full every single one of the many expectations they have for a university like ours. Besides that, the Commission commended Stony Brook for its institution-wide culture of belonging and inclusion. I know you feel that culture. To everyone who participated in the reaccreditation process, I thank you and commend you. Indeed, I thank and commend everyone in the university community because it was through the excellence of your work that we earned such approval and such accolades from demanding accreditors. Thank you very much. This fall, Stony Brook has the largest ever enrollment of first-year students. Their presence testifies to our university's reputation as a top choice for talented, diverse, and ambitious students from all backgrounds across New York State, the nation, and the world. Included in our historic class is the highest number of educational opportunity program students in Stony Brook history. Over 40% of our undergraduates receive federal Pell Grants, which means they come from economically disadvantaged families. And by the way, our Pell students graduate at a rate that is slightly higher than that of the rest of the student body. I never before heard of a university where that was true. Turning to another point of pride. Thank you. Turning to another point of pride, 2024 marks the best fundraising year in the history of the university. Together, more than 9,000 people pledged or contributed $655 million, $563 million of which will go directly into our endowment. In May, the Stony Brook community mourned the passing of Jim Simons, who together with his wife Marilyn was by far the greatest donor in our history, and indeed one of the most generous donors in the history of American higher education. Jim's and Marilyn's name rightly graces many of our finest facilities and programs. Stony Brook is so appreciative for his incredible mind, his unwavering support, and his decades-long friendship. Jim Simons' life and generosity remind us that without gifts from supporters who love our university and believe passionately in its mission, we could not possibly achieve our highest goals and our boldest dreams. Stony Brook University and Stony Brook Medicine contribute greatly to the health and wellness of the Long Island community. They do so through the proud stewardship of the Long Island State Veterans Home and a myriad of other healthcare programs that are carried on at Stony Brook University Hospital, our Children's and East End hospitals, and in more than 200 ambulatory care facilities. Stony Brook University Hospital is one of the first 8 hospitals in the United States to attain healthcare equity certification from the Joint Commission. It is Long Island's only institution to achieve this level of certification and demonstrates Stony Brook's commitment to embracing diversity, addressing healthcare disparities, and providing equitable, patient-centered care. This has also been a year for Stony Brook's growing impact in Southampton, where we offer a dozen outstanding educational programs and provide health care at our Southampton hospital. Today, Stony Brook is strengthening our community relationships, reinvesting in our Southampton campus infrastructure, and laying the groundwork for even more ambitious contributions to Eastern Long Island. The ongoing turnaround of our Southampton campus is not just about growth. It's also about fostering a vibrant community where education, innovation, and collaboration thrive. In real time, we are witnessing Southampton's transformation into a dynamic hub for learning, culture, and engagement. I also want to emphasize our core commitment to the arts, humanities, and social sciences. These fields are essential to any great university, to the education we provide, to the human heritages we invoke and carry on, to stirring the imagination and the creativity of our students. No great university would forsake chemistry or mathematics, nor would it abandon English or history or music. Among many examples, I'll give just a few. For one, Stony Brook's first ever Humanities Research Day that took place on April 24th in the Poetry Center of the Humanities Building. It was designed to give undergraduate students a glimpse into research opportunities in humanities disciplines. And that day there was a full house of students, faculty, and staff. For another example, there are our newest faculty appointments in Native American and Indigenous Studies, a proud new interdisciplinary minor field. Another example of our commitment is the new course that we introduced last spring called Visual Storytelling Across the Disciplines. It was created to help students understand the importance of visible storytelling and to also learn the technical tools to create effective visual stories. So we are a comprehensive university that rightly takes pride in its accomplishments in the arts, humanities, and social sciences, alongside its advances in STEM and medical health fields. In the short time I've been at Stony Brook, I've been struck with overwhelming admiration by the team spirit that permeates our community, a spirit we celebrate annually through the Stony Awards and every day through gratitude grams. Thank you for sending gratitude grams and for expressing thanks in many ways. Never underestimate how much everyone cherishes being thanked for what they do. Stony Brook's team spirit was on full display during the week of August 19th, as sea wolves across the university worked tirelessly to manage the flooding that occurred just as we were about to welcome new and returning students for the fall semester. To everyone who shared in that wet and tiring work, I thank you. The day after the rain stopped, Governor Hochul phoned me to express her concern about our campus. And a few days later, she showed up wearing rubber boots and waded through the still-soaked basement of Gray Residence Hall. Needless to say, I was enormously gratified by her interest and support. While she was here, I thanked Governor Hochul for designating Stony Brook as a flagship university, an honor she bestowed upon us in 2022. That designation is a point of pride, but it must also be our North Star. It sends a clear message that we are being entrusted to attract outstanding students from all backgrounds, to recruit the most accomplished faculty, and to win even more highly competitive federal research funding. But Stony Brook's designation as a flagship also sends us a challenge to be an even better university, to become a true flagship. A flagship is one of the very best of its kind. In this case, one of the very best universities in America. Being a flagship means exhibiting the highest achievements and providing an exemplary model that other universities will emulate. Stony Brook is now called a flagship in recognition of the accomplishments I have cited this afternoon and many more besides. But we cannot be content to be called a flagship. We must actually be one. What will it take for Stony Brook to become a true flagship university? What must we do? What challenges must we meet? I will devote the remainder of this address to giving you my best answers to those questions. Since arriving here, I've made it a point to learn by listening. You've told me what you love about this university, and there's a lot to love. I love it too. You've also shared what needs to be improved, and I have some observations of my own. From the first day I arrived, I gave you my word that whatever my title, I would be your president. And that means I will let nothing stand in the way of maintaining Stony Brook's exceptional momentum or realizing its tremendous potential. But there are some challenges that Stony Brook must meet to succeed and excel as a flagship. There are 3 of them, to be exact, to which I now turn my attention. The first challenge we face is the urgent need to expand Stony Brook research. We are a very good research university, but we have the opportunity to be great. We are forgoing opportunities we must seize. Even while Stony Brook has matured as a research university, it has invested too little in shared research facilities and in the advanced labs and computing facilities our scientists need. We have given insufficient encouragement to the interdisciplinary research that is essential to tackling the most difficult problems before us. The good news is this: we have it within our power to address these problems, and we will. Under the leadership of my predecessor, Stony Brook announced that it would double the university's research expenditures by 2030. That is an admirable goal, but we will not achieve it by accident. To secure larger grant awards from agencies like the National Institutes of Health, the National Science Foundation, the Department of Defense, and other major funders, we must invest in our faculty and the facilities they need. We must provide faculty with greater support in applying for grants and administering those grants so our leading researchers can do more science and less paperwork. Stony Brook students and faculty deserve the best computing, the best instrumentation, and sufficient support to bring their discoveries out of the laboratory and into the real world. The needs are there, but many of the essentials are currently lacking. So this year, we will launch a new shared resources organization to design and develop high-performance computing. We will also establish a $10 million Stony Brook Venture Fund, create an angel network, and begin to make translational grants so that our researchers can have what they need to propel their discoveries beyond the campus into business or healthcare or anywhere their findings can advance the solution to human problems. Society's greatest challenges cannot be met by the sum of disconnected parts, no matter how excellent those parts may be. It is the role and responsibility of a flagship like Stony Brook to ensure that researchers combine their strengths across the lines of disciplines and departments. Currently, there are barriers to interdisciplinary work that we must break down. Some of the barriers are financial, some administrative, and some exist because it's simply the way things always have been done. But we also have terrific examples of interdisciplinary research and teaching. Our Department of Biomedical Engineering offers one model. It is jointly run by the College of Engineering and Applied Sciences and the School of Medicine. Its core faculty are roughly split between the two. It includes collaborative researchers from Brookhaven National Laboratory and Cold Spring Harbor. It offers exceptional learning and research opportunities, including through the Center for Biotechnology, the Institute for Engineering-Driven Medicine, and the Center for Healthy Aging. Another model of interdisciplinary research and scholarship is the Collaborative for the Earth, which integrates our research and teaching around climate and the environment into a single enterprise. Next month, for example, 40 students and 20 faculty will spend a day on a wind farm on Block Island. The participants will include an artist studying the acoustics of wind energy, mechanical engineers working on blade design, marine biologists, a pediatric pulmonologist concerned with air quality, and a political scientist studying climate negotiations. There is almost no limit to what can happen when researchers from multiple disciplines explore new directions together. We know that through our leadership role in the New York Climate Exchange. It speaks to Stony Brook's growing visibility as a center of climate research, and it provides a platform on which we can join with other organizations that are pursuing environmental projects within our region, nationally and globally too. Above all, I believe Stony Brook should deepen initiatives in both research and teaching that bring together our medical and health science programs on the East Campus with the rest of our academic programs on the West Campus. To chart the way toward achieving that purpose, I will soon appoint a faculty task force on such cooperation. It will be co-chaired by Dr. Bill Wertheim, our Executive Vice President for Stony Brook Medicine, and Brenda Anderson, a professor of integrated neuroscience who is herself a model interdisciplinary researcher. In what ways, the task force will ask, can we combine our strengths in the health sciences with our strengths in everything else? The task force will have staff and resources to visit other institutions to observe their best practices. And by next spring, I will expect it to offer compelling recommendations for seizing research opportunities that embrace our health sciences and the rest of the university. The second big challenge we face is that our facilities are inadequate to support the needs of a true flagship university. Many of our buildings were erected soon after Stony Brook's founding in 1957. While we have invested millions over the years in repairing and improving them, many are beyond their useful lives. Stony Brook faces a staggering $2 billion in deferred maintenance. Our School of Dental Medicine is still housed in the same temporary facilities it has occupied for 51 years. The School of Marine and Atmospheric Sciences has resided in similar temporary buildings throughout its entire existence. The College of Business is in a facility that is unworthy of a flagship university. A flagship needs better. This year, we have begun a comprehensive facilities master planning process, including the Southampton campus, for the first time since 2011. It will be a thorough, top to bottom, building by building inventory of all our spaces. As we document the condition of our living, learning, and teaching facilities, we will likely find some usable space that is currently not well deployed. We must use the space we have in the best possible ways. But doing that will not be enough, not nearly enough. In the recent meeting with Chancellor King that I noted earlier, every Stony Brook faculty member and student who spoke made clear that woeful facilities constrain our teaching and research and negatively affect our students' lives. The Chancellor heard our message, as did the two legislators who were present, and I believe they will be supportive. But make no mistake about it, this is not a challenge Stony Brook can meet on its own. We are scarcely the only SUNY institution that has inadequate buildings, although we have more deferred maintenance than anyone else. We will need the support not only from SUNY, but also from the New York State Legislature and from Governor Hochul. I promise to use my time and influence as president, doing everything I can to persuade state leaders to meet our need for new and better facilities. The state cannot have the flagship university it wants in the buildings we now have. In response to a request from SUNY, Stony Brook has identified 4 capital projects that are essential to advancing our teaching and research and to expand our contributions to the state's economic development. These 4 projects would include new modern facilities for chemistry, interdisciplinary health sciences, earth and climate systems, and engineering, AI, and computational sciences. And to repeat, I will advocate tirelessly for the resources to construct these buildings and to repair others. When Governor Hochul was here a few days after the flood, she saw roofs leaking and hallways filled with water. I invited her to come back to campus, and when she does, facilities will be at the top of my list. The third big challenge we face is to make strategic decisions about increasing our enrollment as a first-choice destination for both undergraduate and graduate students from New York, the nation, and the world. Stony Brook has far fewer students than most of its peers among public AAU universities. Bigger isn't necessarily better, but we know that many more students want to come here than we currently accommodate. Our deans and faculty want more students, and more students will bring greater tuition revenue to support our academic programs. But this is not just about tuition. We must ensure that all our students enjoy a high quality of both life and learning at Stony Brook, and that they succeed here. Stony Brook has recently made additional intentional investments in undergraduate student recruiting, including strategic efforts to distribute university-wide growth in majors where there's capacity to do so. We saw the benefits of this recruitment strategy when our largest ever class of first-year students arrived at the start of this semester. To accommodate more students, we must continue to invest in professional development and hiring initiatives to maintain our outstanding teaching standards and to ensure all our students a vibrant, inclusive, living and learning community. We have to remain committed to providing holistic and comprehensive support for every student. This means that Stony Brook must continue to invest in undergraduate and graduate student services, including expanded career advising, tutoring support, and mental health services. These efforts matter. These efforts matter. This past year, we achieved a 90% retention rate. That is, year one students who came back for their second year, which is a return to pre-pandemic levels. As we take strategic action to grow our enrollment of students, we must also take related steps fully to support every one of them. Doing so will help us extend the promise of a Stony Brook education to more students, including many more who would be the first in their families to go to college. The steps I have just mentioned are all within our university's power. But there's some critical challenges that will stand in the way of increased enrollment unless we have support from SUNY, from the state of New York, and from private sector partners. The most important of these challenges are student housing for both undergraduate and graduate students, and dining services. All of the beds in our residence halls are currently full, with many students in triple rooms and others on a housing wait list. We are currently working to increase our residential footprint with a plan to add 500 beds in the fall of 2025 as part of a new Seawolves Village on campus and adding more housing for undergraduate and graduate students over the next several years. Our efforts to attract outstanding graduate students are too often stymied by the high cost of living in the Stony Brook area. They want to come to study with our renowned faculty, but they cannot afford to do so. My administration is hard at work developing solutions that will meet our student housing needs for the future, and I pledge vigorously to seek the outside help we must have to achieve this goal. During Chancellor King's recent visit to our campus, one of our students pointed gratefully to her excellent academic experience, but said that she wished Stony Brook's housing was as good as its education. Heads around the table nodded in agreement. I want to mention one more student initiative that is very near to my heart. As part of our commitment to equity and access, as well as to the enhancement of the diversity of our student body, we will establish a Stony Brook Future Scholars Program that could follow a model we invented at Rutgers. Each year, we would identify 100 or more rising 8th graders who were enrolled in disadvantaged local school districts. We would promise to mentor them through their high school years and encourage them to take the courses that will prepare them for higher education. We would bring the Stony Brook Future Scholars onto our campus frequently, both during the academic year and the summer, for programs enabling them to begin to experience college life and learning. Those who graduate from high school, and we would make sure they all do, and who earn admission to Stony Brook on their merits, will attend here with free tuition. These are the things we must do. These are the challenges we must meet. There's a reason why you came to work and live and grow at Stony Brook, and why Stony Brook welcomed you just as it has welcomed me. You believe in inspiring and educating the next generation of students. You believe in creating new knowledge and in the benefit that knowledge brings to society. You believe in Stony Brook's values, including academic freedom. You believe in your own freedom to teach and study what you like and to help others do the same. That is why we came here. That's why we are here. Now let's take our university to the next level. Let's be a true flagship. We can do it together. Thank you, and thank you for all you do for Stony Brook.